everybody, and welcome to the live reaction of episode 208, which was SuperBout IV, part 2 of 3, featuring Big Meaty Men slapping meat. And oh my gosh, if you have not seen the extended version, then I would highly recommend going back and checking out that extended version. You have to join members only. It's very, very entertaining. There's some stuff in that match and in the previous matches that you don't quite get to see because of time constraints. But hello everybody, Dustin Starr here. It's live reaction time. There was a lot of people in the live chat today, so thank you guys so much for watching Memphis Wrestling. We are approaching 20 million lifetime views right here on this page, and it's all because of you. In January, we had over 3 million views. So gosh, I just want to take a second to say that I appreciate each and every person, even the ones that put hateful stuff in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. Anyway, let's talk all about it. SuperBout IV, it's our 4-year anniversary blockbuster SuperBout. 3 weeks. We had week 1 featuring the Derek King's final match. We also led today with some highlights that you guys hadn't seen before. But again, you got to join members only so you can see that in full. It was a very touching moment, very extended moment there on Memphis Wrestling last week, and the end of an era. What's up, Jeffrey? He said, man, the Boz match was great. And when I say dream matches, thank you, Jeffrey. Like that championship badge, by the way. When I say independent dream match in the Mid-South, like, this is a match that people had been clamoring for, and I believe one of the other companies, EPW, I believe tried to get this match and might have even advertised this match, but wasn't able to get it, something with scheduling or whatnot. But I just could not wait to see these two guys get an opportunity. And the moment that Marco Harris debuted on Memphis Wrestling, I knew he had to go one-on-one with the Boz. What's up, Rob? Thank you so much. He says, great show. I appreciate that. Marco Harris and Tim Bosby kicked off the program fighting for the prestigious Cobra Cup. Now remember, guys, Cobra Cup is very similar to Money in the Bank, where that cup was destroyed year 1. Somebody smashed the freaking cup. And so to ensure that that never happened again, we gave that cup power. So now Tim Bosby has a championship opportunity of his choosing anytime, any place. So we'll see how that goes. I know Boz, and I know that he wants to be on top of Memphis Wrestling. He's finding success other places. We just saw him on Monday Night Raw just a couple of days ago. So the guy he's putting in the work. We'll see what he does with the cup. I like the MW EPW crossover, says Rob. It's not necessarily a crossover, but Marco Harris is featured on EPW. I believe he is the current EPW champion. So a little bit of a crossover. Those are our partners out there. So big shout out to EPW. Willie says DDT will get revenge against Nixie XS. Yeah, the women's championship was on the line today. DDT defending the championship against the #1 contender, Erica Torres. We really hadn't seen Nixie XS since she and C-Rex lost the women's championship. I say that they lost it because there was a whole big confusing thing that Cobra took care of. Am I still here? Make sure I'm still here, guys. Tell me if you could still see me. Okay, good. All right, so the Papa Esco, I recently found out he was in the Nashville area. So I was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing in Nashville? And you didn't even tell me, and we had TV that weekend. So had I known that Papa Esco was so close to Memphis, we probably could have got him at the SuperBout television taping. And if that was the case, then I don't know if Papo would have gone one-on-one with K Toomer because we already had that story going, but definitely would have had Papo Esco involved some way. So big shout out to Papo Esco. Hope our luck is different next time and we're able to get him. Keith says, great Cobra Cup finale, and congratulations to the Boz. The Boz is doing it all, man. What's up, Arturo? How are you? Woods is here. He says, great show. Thank you, man. Haroon is here. Hair looks fresh. Man, I didn't do that much to the hair today because tomorrow's the big day, live at the WrestleCenter. Nick Nemeth is so excited about coming to Memphis Wrestling. I can't wait till he's here. He flies in tonight. Big autograph signing tomorrow at 12:30 to 1:30. And then, of course, he is going to be in action. So go ahead and put in the comments, who should Nick Nemeth wrestle when he comes to Memphis Wrestling? I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. I had an interview with him recently on Grind City Wrestling. So go check out the Grind City Media page here on YouTube, and you can see that in full. But man, he was super excited. Arturo says, Dustin, my friend, how are you doing? I'm doing great. Darshan is here. What's up, Patrick? Jeffrey, Willie, I hear you and see you. Okay. Rob, I like the format. Champ match, grudge match, champ match, grudge match. Meet, meet, meet. Very cool. Ronaldo or Messi? I don't know enough to answer that, Darshan. I'm sorry. Rico says, hey, Dustin, great show. Can't wait for part 3. Part 3 is next week, and it's featuring one of the biggest main events. The Problem, Aaron Roberts, defends one-on-one against the winner of the Grind City Rumble, the #1 contender, the Gun Show. So I can't wait to see that. Long time in the making. Loving the new Van Vicious. Wow, never thought I would hear that. Want to see Bosby and Marco again. They killed it. I would love to see them run that back as well. Nemeth versus Bosby would be absolutely fantastic. Who picks up the victory there? Van Vicious should get his revenge on Jackass Jimmy Blaylock and the Hollywood Pricks. Oh my gosh, take it easy, Willie. Rob says Nemeth versus Brad Stinkerhorn, so Brad can get knocked out. Brad has not had a bunch of luck against some of these celebrities, that's for sure. What if Nick Nemeth versus Ray Collins? Okay. Is the hair real, Nathan? Absolutely, it's real. Glenn says you keep up reality wrestling. Chandler Hopkins, Thought TV champion. I do keep up with reality of wrestling. Keith says, where did AJ Francis get the idea for the $1 million belt and how is it sanctioned? It's not sanctioned in Memphis Wrestling. He came out with it at the desk and I was like, what in the hell is he doing? He wanted to defend it on Memphis Wrestling, which is fine, but it's not a sanctioned Memphis Wrestling Championship belt. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Big John Dalton, K. Toomer, won that title belt today, that he would want it back because it's not theirs or something crazy like that. Oh, Aaron Roberts, that would be a good one. This must be Gun Show's last title shot. Rico, he won the Grind City Rumble, so he does deserve it. Willie Bowen says Nick Nemeth versus Aaron Roberts. Are you 420 pounds against maybe 190-pound Nick Nemeth? Andrew says, hey, Dustin, I'd love to see the Hollywood Pricks get laid out and punished. How about you? Well, they did take defeat today, but they didn't take it very well, and they attacked Van Vicious after the match. It looked like a pretty brutal attack, too, especially when he hit him with the cane. So we'll see what happens with Van Vicious moving forward. Ray's momentum has died at Jimmy's hands. I totally agree with you on that. Rob, I feel like all the way Ray had a winning streak. He was on a roll. Now the shenanigans of Jimmy Blaylock just aren't cool. Twinkie and Ding Dong's fitting for Jimmy. What about the Cheez-Its? In the Big Meaty Men slapping meat, AJ Francis pulls out a huge money bag, which I think is probably got thumbtacks or something in there, and it's Cheez-Its. And there's a whole story that I'm going to post for members only on that with photos and everything. But this was absolutely fantastic. I hope Cheez-Its picks it up because, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Like all over the ring mat, smashed in the ring by 300, 400 pounders. Absolutely unbelievable. $1 million belt and Monopoly money. There you go. Dancer, how are you, man? I think Mr. Francis stole Mr. Ted DiBiase's belt. The $1 million belt looked way better. AJ bought that belt from Toys R Us. He probably bought it from Big Daddy at the Championship Drip merch stand. Message Blanchard, better compete on Impact next week. I'm glad that Van Vicious is back. Me too. I don't know who, but I want to see Bosby matched up against someone technical so I can see how technical Tim can be. Well, Tim has been in the ring with just about everybody there is to be in the ring with. It was meat and Cheez-Its match. Is Cheez-Its gonna be a sponsor in Memphis Wrestling? Rico, they absolutely should be. As much exposure as they're about to get. I don't know. I've never seen that before in my 25 years of professional wrestling, that Cheez-Its are brought into the ring. And for those of you that don't know, the Citrus Bowl in college football is sponsored by Cheez-Its. AJ Francis is some sort of host or representative of Citrus Bowl, so he has a Cheez-Its championship belt, which he probably should have had on the program today instead of that silly $1 million title. But anyway, that's how Cheez-Its all kind of came about, but they should absolutely be a sponsor. Andrew says, hi, Dustin. That was an intense and hard-hitting main event today between Big John Dalton, K. Toomer, and AJ Francis. I enjoyed it. How about you? I thought it was awesome. It could potentially be match of the year, especially if you go watch the extended version. Once again, you guys, if you want to see me talk about stuff I'm not supposed to talk about, gossip, drama, all the behind-the-scenes stuff. Riddle was a big thing a couple of weeks ago. Join members only. And then also every week there's an extended version to where you can see a little bit more, like Erica Torres. We didn't get to see her enter the ring. That's on extended version. And then also Tim Bosby and Marco Harris. There were a couple edits into that match that we had to shorten for television. You got to go back and check that out. If you thought it was good before, it'd be even better then, and especially the Big Meaty Men slapping meat. And of course, last week, Derek King, the entire celebration. Got to go back and check that out. So that's members only here on YouTube. Van needs to make a friend or two. So Van does need somebody to watch his back. But who on God's green earth would ever want to watch Van Vicious's back? Rico says, there's still heat with Jonathan Gresham not showing up. I haven't talked to Jonathan Gresham since that. So I think it kind of stinks for him because he doesn't have a contract with TNA right now. So I thought that maybe he would be able to spend more time in Memphis, but unfortunately that's not the case. Arturo says, K Toomer and me would definitely be a tag team, but I don't know what the tag team would be, what the name would be. Rico says, I hope hey, that's a good tag team partner to have. Rico says, I hope we can still get that match with him and Bosby. Oh, I would love to get that match. Wrestle Lowell says, what a great way to spend a Saturday morning watching Memphis wrestling. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. What'd you think of today's show? Where's WrestleMania held this year? I believe that's Vegas. The ring rocked the whole day. You're right, Rob. It's bolted down, fortunately. Willie says, Dustin, who would be a good wrestler to take down Psycho Simon? I don't know. Wasn't Happy Simon beat DK? A couple of Psycho Simon, Derek King questions here or topics. I don't know. Who do you guys think that Psycho Simon goes after next? Or who goes after him? Only time will tell. Members Only has been so much extra content, well worth the money. Yeah, there's about an hour interview that I did just last week talking about everything under the sun with BT, so you guys got to check that out. Me and BT have known each other a long time too, so it's not more like an interview, it's kind of just more like a conversation. I think that since Van had history with DK and maybe Ray Ray will get Van's back, oh man, I don't know. Which belt will Boz go after? That's a good question. Hey, I think that Ray Sanders needs to probably focus on himself at this point because unfortunately he's kind of been caught up in this whole DK and Psycho Simon thing. And I don't mean that in a bad way because he had his mentors back, but gosh, I want to see Ray Sanders having some competitive matches again on Memphis Wrestling. So hopefully we'll see that. Wrestle Lowell's. Also, Dustin, what happened to United Wrestling Network affiliation? You guys used to have it displayed on every episode, and now it's basically non-existent. Well, they haven't been active in, over a year. So I think their next television taping's on February 25th. Yeah, that's about that. You'd have to ask that question over to somebody else. But February 25th is a taping in the Irvine Improv in California. And then I think they have a follow-up one in March. So that's good that they have back-to-back. So that means we at least get 6, maybe 9 weeks of new episodes. So, yeah, good question, Russell Lowe's. Brody, Dustin, how'd you feel when Joe Hendry won the title? I thought that was awesome because he just appeared on Memphis Wrestling. If Cat Jack could wrestle again, he would take down Psycho Simon. I think so too. Big Swole Justin Cole could take down Psycho Simon. Love to have Big Swole Justin Cole back on the program. Rob says, Ray, Mike Anthony, the Mizarks could help Van. Andrea says, how do you feel about Triple H and Michelle McCool being inducted this year? Okay, I think that's cool. I just think they needed some sort of Undertaker rub there. Can you sing me a fa? I don't know what that means. I don't sing very much of anything. Rico says, is CJ's Money's mom a manager, or is she going to let his son grow as a wrestler? I have no idea. Mama Money is all over the place. On the show again today, complaining like a Karen. Keith says, what if Van Vicious reunited with Derek King? Derek King's retired, guys. I remember when they first teamed, but yeah, Mama Money needs an attitude adjustment. Brody Blader, hey Dustin, if you had to choose a debut NXT opponent, what do you mean? I'm not wrestling anymore, so does that count me in or out? What's up, Hannah? How are you? I like your championship badge. Rikus, if only Mr. Chris is still around. Russell Love says, quick idea, you guys thinking of doing live specials for Memphis Wrestling in the future? There's plenty of venues in Memphis area that would be great for the promotion. Well, we have our own venue, which is the WrestleCenter. And then also coming up on March the 1st, you can see us at FedEx Forum when we're there with Wrestling Night with the Memphis Grizzlies. It's going to be awesome. And then also we've got 2 ballpark shows with the Arkansas Travelers out in Little Rock. And then, of course, we're going to be back at AutoZone Park with the Memphis Redbirds. That's going to happen in September. We've got the Mid-South Fair, the Dyer County Fair. We've got the Tatertown Throwdown. We've got Ingomar, Mississippi, where we're going to be back out there. There's a whole lot of talk about being in other places in Mississippi too. But then also Tupelo, Mississippi is going to be the home of our St. Jude fundraiser this year out at the Tupelo Furniture Market. So we got a lot of shows. I'm not sure if you keep track of all of them, but we have a whole lot of shows. We don't do any live specials as far as pay-per-view or anything like that. But at some point, I'm sure that you'll see us. So we'll probably grow into that. You know, this is season 5 for us, and year, I think, 6 on the actual business. So heading into year 6 for the business, year 5 local. King Cobra needs to find Jimmy for his actions. I agree. Congratulations, Michelle McCool. Yeah. Brody says, hey, Dustin, if you have an opponent, a debut opponent for Aaron Roberts on NXT, who would it be? Somebody that he can just smash. If Aaron Roberts debuts on NXT, he needs to absolutely eat somebody's lunch, like he did Zay Washington for his WWE ID match. What do you think of A&E's new WWLFG series? I have not watched it yet. I can't wait to look at it. Honestly, you could tape the ballpark shows as well. Yeah, we can, but that adds a whole lot of production costs that eats into the profits of what we do to pay the bills. So WrestleLows, you are correct. We could totally do that, but there is a very large cost associated with that. And some of these outside shows help us pay the bills to keep the WrestleCenter going, brother. So, and like I said, we're so early into this thing. As we grow, stuff like that will open up, especially with our partnership with WMC Action News 5 Plus. You'll see that partnership grow this year, and when it grows big enough, they would help us do stuff like that. Seems like Tough Enough 2.0. I totally agree. All right, guys, I've got just a couple of more minutes here, so go ahead and put your topics and your questions in the comments, and I'll run through those. Any chance that Justin Case has his cronies will be banned from ringside during Aaron and Gun Show? It doesn't look like it, but Gun Show knows it's coming this time, I guess. Robert says, Dustin, any chance of Duke Hudson coming to Memphis Wrestling? Is that this related to Doc Hudson from the movie Cars? Because if so, I would totally book him because my son would love it. Brody says, do you think you could have Cedric Alexander on Memphis Wrestling? Yeah, we could have Cedric Alexander on Memphis Wrestling. Russell Lowell says MLW usually does live specials for YouTube along with Prestige. Might be a great idea. Yes, it is. We're just so early into this thing. There's a lot that goes into something like that, Russell Lowell's. But yeah, you're on the right track. We've talked about it a lot. Rob says Aaron needs to show off his speed and show why he was picked. A big man with that much agility is rare. Rob, you are absolutely right. Like him or not, he is awesome. Buddy Jones is in the house. What scenario is more dangerous? Aaron Roberts retains his title and continues his dominance of Memphis Wrestling, or he loses to the Gun Show and Memphis Wrestling has a pissed off problem? I don't know, man. I think one of the fears for some wrestling fans and maybe some of the office here at Memphis Wrestling is what happens if Aaron Roberts retains the championship and he takes it with him to Evolve? Or what if he debuts on NXT? This dude is signed to a contract, so at any given moment, they could pull him. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that, this dude's about to go to the national stage, so we'll see. Hey, Jeffrey, I'm going to do some members only here in just a little bit, so it'll probably be a couple of hours. If you guys want to put your questions, I'll make a post so you can post your questions. Love to see Kurt Angle make an appearance. Rico, me too. I still believe in Joe Hendry. Keith, did you watch Brandon Collins' first match? And if you didn't, you should. He worked his butt off. I'll have to check that out. Tennessee Cowboy James Storm versus Psycho Simon. My favorite Scottish wrestler is Drew instead of Drew. Thought of booking Jeff Jarrett. Wrestle Lowes, we have pitched Jeff Jarrett date after date after date, and it's going to work out sometime real soon. Hannah, do you still believe in Joe Hendry? Absolutely. Hey, Dustin, have you worked as a referee? Yes, I was a referee in the developmental system, actually. Hi, Dustin, what do you think of Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton? I don't like that spot for Tiffany Stratton. She's not a strong enough babyface to withstand the dominance of Charlotte Flair. So I wish that they would have let Tiffany Stratton become a babyface for a while before this happened. So I don't think that this is going to work in Tiffany Stratton's favor. Toomer versus Psycho Simon would be cool. Oh my God, it would be. I think you should have someone like Austin Aries on Memphis Wrestling. I don't know that I would book Austin Aries based off the things that I've heard, but never say never. Rico says, you got any tips? Yeah, don't turn your back to the hard camera. Act as if it's real. You're the real authority. You are literally the real authority. Don't be a stupid ref. Don't let them bury you. Russell Lowell. Oh, it would be so hilarious to have Joe Hendry back in Memphis Wrestling. Imagine the views. Oh, man, I know. Fuego del Sol would be good. I've talked to Fuego. Probably, I don't know, you could probably see Fuego at some point. Patrick, I know it's easier said than done, but I want a UWN Super Show that had you included. That's not on me, bro. You're talking to the wrong person there. I don't put that together. Also, I don't book it. So Keith says, didn't Kurt Angle wrestle in Memphis once in 1999 before? He was actually in the developmental system here in Memphis for a while. Hey, Dustin from Andrea, how do you feel about NXT Vengeance Day tonight, and what match are you excited for? I don't know. I'm going to watch it, though. I'm going to check it out. Yes, PPW, Power Pro Wrestling, that only lasted like 2 years, year and a half, something like that. Just so you guys know, we have exceeded every single previous rendition of Memphis Wrestling except for the glorious USWA with 208 episodes now. Should have been Tyler Breeze. I know you should have Tyler Breeze on Memphis Wrestling. When we booked Dirty Dango, we tried to book Tyler Breeze. He just would not allow it. I'm a part-time ref, so I'm learning to refereeing to show my talent. So any sort of advice for veterans like you? Yeah, just don't turn your back to the hard cam. Be very vocal, work with your hands, let the people see your hands when you're doing stuff and when you're telling them no. You got to get onto the baby faces just as much as you get onto the heels. Wrestle Lowell's Cornet could also work as well, but consider the controversies he's been involved in. It might not be a good idea. The Mizarks versus the Irrighteous Path, triggered by PTSD. Maria was hilarious on that, by the way. All right, guys, I'm going to be doing a members only here later, so I need you guys to go ahead. The ones that don't have a championship badge, you need to get a championship badge. You get custom emojis, all sorts of extra content. Tomorrow is our television taping featuring Nick Nemeth. Every single seat in the house is going to have a butt in it. It is going to be awesome. And then we're going to turn back around on March 1st and be at FedEx Forum with the Memphis Grizzlies. If you go to our Facebook page, or if you go to memphiswrestling.tv and click that, you can get a seat close to the ring. And then also the cool thing about that is the Memphis Wrestling diehards will be there. So you guys will all sit together. That's happening on Saturday. First 5,000 fans get a Desmond Bain wrestling buddy. And if you don't know who Desmond Bain is, you don't watch enough basketball. He's a big star on the Memphis Grizzlies team. Have the number 2 in the West. The Memphis Grizzlies are the highest scoring team in the league. They also have more home wins than anybody in the NBA. So it's going to be 18,000 people strong. We're going to have pre-game matches on the concourse, also pre-game matches on the countdown of the game, which is the pre-game with Casamigos that I host, and then also a huge main event coming up at halftime. So get those tickets, memphiswrestling.tv, Memphis Grizzlies Wrestling Night. And then the next day, we're doing back-to-back, March 2nd, Matt Hardy is coming to Memphis Wrestling, if you can believe that. Russell Lowell's LFG Dolph Ziggler. Oh, yeah. Will Nick Nemeth get to tell some jokes? Nick Nemeth is going to have probably a whole segment at the desk with a microphone. I wish there was Texas promotion. You could have revised Texas versus Tennessee feud. I think we just need to focus on what we're doing, brother. Nick Nemeth, coolest wrestler alive. I think you're right. Nick, Rico's here. What's up? Says thank you, Dustin. Thank you, guys. All right, I am Dustin Starr. This was the live reaction, episode 208. SuperBout IV, 2 of 3, Big Meaty Men slapping meat. Shout out to cheez-its. Anyway, I'm Dustin Starr saying so long, everybody. Got cheez-its crushed all into my mat. You kidding me?